Good evening and welcome back to another video. We begin today's news, or we're going to start with news today, and it's going to be a conflicting bits of information, bits of the news that I'm going to have a look at. So let's start with the first bit. Bitcoin price to finish 2019 at $9,000, 85% higher than its current price as financial forecasters. A study conducted by finder.co.au in Australia saw experts in financial markets forecasted the year-end price of Bitcoin in the $7,500 to $9,000 range. As of February, the price of Bitcoin hovers around $3,500. An increase from $3,500 to $9,000 would be equivalent to a 157% rise in value within less than 10 months. So traditionally, that would be pretty good. Why experts remain positive on long-term outlook of Bitcoin? Executives at investment firms, individual investors, and fintech experts are generally positive on the long-term trend of Bitcoin because of various short-term catalysts that may fuel the market. In the first quarter of the year, IceBack is expected to launch a Bitcoin futures market in the US, and the Fidelity is set to offer cryptocurrency custody. Activities by large-scale financial institutions in a bear market can increase the confidence of investors that have become uncertain about the future asset class. Digital Capital Management COO Ben Ritchie said, two things that look out for 2019 will be whether we will see decoupling of cryptocurrencies, with basically whether Bitcoin and the rest of the market can detach. If Bitcoin goes up, does the rest of the market go up, and vice versa? As to date, they have trended in a relatively similar manner. The second is the impact of traditional markets on cryptocurrencies. Will Bitcoin rise if the S&P drops? On-ramp and off-ramp to purchasing cryptocurrencies will improve in 2019 with Bakkt and Fidelity. Don't forget Binance and their ability to purchase up debit and credit cards, and also available in the Euro and GBP, and possibly coming to US, so they haven't talked about that. However, I do not believe we will see many institutional investors enter for some time yet. Ritchie provided the highest prediction of the year of $9,000, while other fintech experts forecasted BTC to end the year at $7,500. I think there's a video in here. I'll link it. I don't know how it works with copyright. Who's this guy talking in the corner? Get rid of him. I don't know how it works with copyright with YouTube, but I will just leave that. Similarly, all experts say that BTC will likely experience a small grind up, demonstrating a low level of volatility throughout the months to come. There's a bit more to this article. I mean, it's positive. It's a rise, but we only need to look at and understand. It's really 2.5 times of what we are now. They expect us to get to $9,000 by end of 2019. Obviously, I've given my own predictions, which you can look at my previous video. I'll link of what my Bitcoin price prediction is, and why I think it's going to reach those highs. Obviously, I've predicted around $90,000 minimum price for 2019. Whether I'm proved right or wrong, only time will tell. But 9,000 seems very, very, very conservative. Even if I'm trying to be conservative, I don't think 9,000. I mean, the fact that we're not even going to surpass what we hit in 2017/2018, and we're way off that. With all the, they've mentioned the fact that you've got Fidelity and Bakkt in the conversation. If they were just those two alone and they actually did launch, imagine how much liquidity there will be in the market with Bitcoin, and you're only going to increase 2.5 times. They're very, very, very cautious with their prediction. Some people have predicted 7,500, so it's like what, 2.1, 2.2 times the price as it is now. We got to $20,000 without Fidelity, without Bakkt, without institutional investors, without OTC, without that much institutional investors. We've got there by ordinary people like you and I buying small bits of Bitcoin or small bits of other currencies to get the market up to 800 billion. People weren't talking about Ethereum or XRP or EOS like they are today in 2017 or 2016. They were talking about Bitcoin and it was a fraud, it was a scam. It's it's going to die, it's going to go to zero. You have people like Jordan Belfort, who's the Wolf of Wall Street, saying it's a scam. He knows because he was a scammer, so he knows what a scam looks like. But we're looking at $9,000. I get frustrated with articles like this because yes, they're trying to be positive, but they are providing. They're not looking at the history of the product. They're just giving a price prediction on evidence that they've not provided. All the fact they provided is just these two bits of information of backed and fidelity, but we're not going to get any other institutional investors. So what about Grayscale? Owning 200,000 or 300,000 Bitcoin. How many other Grayscale people are there? How about potentially Russia and other countries holding Bitcoin? Will they buy more Bitcoin? It's a good article. It's an interesting article. I don't necessarily agree with the price. Obviously, unfortunately, institutional investors are now the ones which are going to have to make us increase because we are not doing it by ourselves anymore. People have weak hands, have fallen out of the market, and are waiting for prices to increase. One crypto YouTuber said $10,000 before people re-enter the market. It may be less than, I think probably when it gets over a $5,000 mark, and we've pushed out of this 3,500 to 3,600. We've got past $4,000. We've got past $4,200. We've got past $4,800, and we've broken $5,000. People start thinking, hey, it's moving. People start jumping into the market then. So I think it'll happen sooner. And once people start jumping back into the market and buying Bitcoin at 5,000, because 5,000 is still a steal, in my opinion. Not financial advice, but 5,000 from it was 20,000. It's still a quarter of the price. Let's just say we hit 20,000 and you were to buy 4 Bitcoin at 5,000, then obviously you've made an 80,000 gain with a $20,000 price. You do that anywhere in traditional markets or housing, you're not going to make a 4 times X on your investment, which is 400% increase in 1 year. So yeah, anyway, let's move on to the next article. And so the next article is completely opposite in terms of its bear market. So crypto exchanges in South Korea scrambling to survive as bear market hits market hard. According to publications Block in Press, crypto exchanges in South Korea are struggling to adjust to changing market conditions and the 14th month-long correction. Since January 2018, the global crypto exchange market has seen a rapid decline in volume, with expectations of Bitcoin and Ethereum. The majority of both major digital assets and tokens have seen a 50 to 90% decline in daily volume. In fact, I was talking about that yesterday, and I was talking about how the fact that at one point Bitcoin was trading around $19 billion daily, and now it does about $4 or $5 billion. Maybe up to 6, so a big drop in daily volume. The report revealed that cryptocurrencies' largest exchanges in the likes of Bithumb and Corbit are evaluating voluntary resignations of at least 10% of their employees. Speaking to the publication, industry insiders said that the crypto winter has hit the local market hard. Trading activity has declined significantly and the overall interest in the market has subsided. While the effect of the extended bear market has been similar in most major markets in the US, Japan, and Switzerland, it has been specifically intense in South Korea. Previously, Corbett CEO Tony Yu said that in the financial market of South Korea, word spread quickly. Once one person is invested, because of the tight network of individuals in the country, everyone else begins to invest in the asset class or industry. Word just spreads really fast in Korea. Once people are invested, they want everyone else to join the party. But there's been a huge, almost a community movement around this. So, not a good sign for crypto exchanges. Obviously, I guess it's the opposite. With once people leave, everybody leaves with them. Unfortunately, this is the repercussions of a 14-month, 413, 12, whatever it was, day decline in price. That if people aren't buying, then you don't need as much staff, unfortunately, and that's just the way it works. And there will be layoffs. They said 10%. Unfortunately, this is what happens in an exchange-driven company. If you are another hedge fund or in a traditional market, or you are sales traders, and your year one turnover was 10 million, and your second year is 80% less, so it's 2 million. You're not going to need as many sales traders, and you're not going to need as many, um, uh, you know, people in legal. You won't need people in certain departments because your company needs to shrink to survive, and unfortunately, these companies need to shrink to survive. I'm not saying that these people can't one day come back, or these exchanges like BitThumb and Corbett can re-employ people or grow again. But at the moment, people need to look how to survive, and unfortunately, that means layoffs. It happens in traditional companies. They're no different to this. They're no different to what happened in the housing crisis or credit crisis in 2008, 2009. Companies had to let a lot of stuff go. Now, we have traditional banks which had at one point 340,000 employees, and over the span of 6 years they went down by 100,000 employees. So if you think about 100,000 employees in a company, that's a massive amount. It's like 30% of the company has been reduced. It's just a sign of the times, and the next article is not going to seem that positive either. So I'll move on to this as well, which I'll talk about more than the previous one. Screams bearish. One mainstream factor shows Bitcoin price bottom could worryingly sink further. In the last 24 hours, the crypto market has rebounded slightly by 1 billion as the Bitcoin price recovered to mid $3,500. Last week, several traders said that maintaining momentum above $3,500 mark is crucial for preventing a drop to the below $3,000 region, and possibly to $2,000. What's bearish in the bottom Bitcoin market? According to cryptocurrency analyst Murad Mahmadov, the engagement of the keyword Bitcoin on Twitter has declined substantially over the past 14 months. Twitter remains the most widely utilized platform for cryptocurrency researchers, developers, and business. The drop in the engagement of the platform demonstrates a lack of interest in the sector, even from individuals and businesses that have been in the industry for a long period. This screams bearish. Tweets about Bitcoin at the same level 2014 and lower than any point in 2016, like nothing has changed. It's an absolute disaster for the price in the medium term, in my opinion. In the short term, as investors in the cryptocurrency sector discover that the bear market will last longer than expected, an increasing number of holders may begin to sell. Do not sell, in my opinion. Already on CCN reported the current bear market is the longest bear market to date in history of the cryptocurrency sector. Only when speculation drives out and true believers of the asset class remain in the ecosystem will a proper bottom be established. So basically, we just need all the weak hands out and the good strong people to remain. You need a complete price exhaustion and attention exhaustion from anyone except the absolute true believers. More people will sell when they realize that this winter will last for longer than they thought, or that they can potentially buy back in at lower. So, I mean, actually, there's a bit more to read. Bitcoin and Ethereum have recovered relatively well from 3,000 region to $100 mark respectively, possibly due to the presence of large buy walls on the fiat crypto exchanges. BTC rebounded strongly from 3,300 levels. I think eventually went lower. They went to about $3,100 mark actually. So again, subjective article. If we're talking about Twitter as using as a measurement or a metric of what the price is, yeah, of course, there may not be as much talk on Twitter about Bitcoin because prices are low and people will not talk about something which is going down, or in a way it might be negative. But again, your institutional investors are not looking to Twitter to get information about crypto. They're talking to their sales guys, the sales traders, or the company's exchange or their market, and they're experts on Bitcoin or Ethereum cryptocurrency. They're not going to look to Twitter to find out what the price of Bitcoin is. But in the same respect, yes, in individuals, the popularity of Bitcoin straight cryptocurrency has dropped. Of course, it's been a 14-month long bear market, and people aren't going to be interested in something which is going down, unfortunately. But they're not realizing the effect of why it's going down and the news out there. You know, if you had a mainstream news reporting, this is the news, and it wasn't on CNBC or it was on a prime time, then obviously people would understand. Or people watch more documentaries about it, or it was talked about more often on social media, then obviously people would understand, oh, actually, the price is going down. But let's not look at the price. Let's look at all this other great news which is going on with Ethereum, with EOS, with Bitcoin, with XRP, with all these other cryptocurrencies which are showing us they're doing big things. Now do you want to invest? And people are like, okay, yes, actually, $3,500 is a good price. I'll invest, maybe $1,000 into Bitcoin because the news looks very positive. It's the same with a traditional market. If you take stock and you think, okay, the price of stock is down overall from a couple of years ago, it's down about 80%. However, this stock has got these partners, they've got this platform coming up, they're pushing into these sort of regions or countries. People, okay, actually, let's invest because there's a lot of long-term prospects with it. For example, now there's news of XRP in China, as in setting up an office in Shanghai. You've got Dash in South America, potentially XRP in Russia. But let's not look at that all-time high of $3.60. Let's look at the price of 30 cents instead. It's like no. Let's look at the news. Let's look at traditional trading. Let's look at not technical analysis. Let's look at actually what is the news showing us and where is information going. If you take, for example, the work the companies are doing, like XRP, like EOS, like Ethereum, what Bitcoin is going to have happen to it, like with Lightning Network, then you add, so like making a cake, then you add institutional investors and what they're doing. So again, Grayscale, Fidelity, backed possible ETF that maybe like a pinch of salt in there with the ETF. And then you look at what individuals are still doing. We're still holding Bitcoin. A lot of wallets haven't moved money because they're just holding. And that's what we should be looking at, that price, not the price of Bitcoin itself. Yeah, it may sink lower. It may go to $2,500. It may go to $2,000. If it gets the weeds out and we are clean, then we can rise. But in my opinion, like I keep saying, I will keep buying Bitcoin on the way down and on the way up. If it goes lower than $3,500, then I'll buy more at $2,000, at $1,500. There'll be a point in the market where people will say this is too low, and I will enter now. So if people are waiting for lower lows, they will re-enter then. If they're expecting a lower low, that's fine. It's a risk, but it's fine because then they will re-enter the market at some point and buy big. If they're sold off at 10,000 or 15,000, they're looking to buy more. Then they will re-enter, and the same people will come back into the market. It's just the ones who may miss out, who may not be looking at the news and what's going on. So yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, it's a very Bitcoin-dominated conversation today. I'd like to hear your thoughts about what the Bitcoin price will be at the end of the year. Will it be 9,000? Will it stay at $3,500? Or will it reach $50,000, $90,000, $150,000 this year? 2019, 2020 is a very big year for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. We're moving into the halving of Litecoin. We're moving to the halving of Bitcoin. We've got a lot of stuff coming up. Price is low. Potentially a good time to buy. But remember, never invest more than you can afford to lose. That's very important. And be careful out there. And I'll see you guys in the next video. But thank you very much for listening, for liking and subscribing. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Goodbye.